What's up, y'all? It's just Rhonda. Welcome to my channel. It's Friday. We've made it through the work week, y'all. It's time for the weekend. What am I going to be doing this weekend? Probably over here talking, y'all. I ain't got a really whole lot planned, y'all. Like the video, subscribe to the channel. I'm 2 subscribers away from 500. This is a milestone for me. So, can y'all find a few of your friends to come subscribe and hang out? Chat about these shows that we like to watch over here. YouTube be playing with me, so I'm not gonna feel secure at 500. They be giving it to me and then take it away. So when I get to 510, then I'll be like ready to move on to that next milestone. Anyway, y'all, Love is Blind likes to drop 3, 4 videos at the same time. I tried to drink my tea because we do a lot of talking over here. So I'm gonna go ahead, get through episode 7, 8, and 9. I was gonna go live, but I think I won't probably be back on live until tomorrow. Tomorrow, me and T will be live with the Bell Collective, but we're here right now with Love is Blind. Let's get into these things that's been happening over here on Love is Blind. We're still at the resort in Baja. These guys all got very much trashed the night before, with the exception of Nick. I don't think Nick got too trashed, but maybe, I don't know. But what Joe got so trashed, he had to go back to the, place and lay down. Jordan. Jordan is kind of goofy. And so, yeah, they were all pretty trash. Anyway, they're back at the resort, and Megan is in her feelings because Jordan got over there and got all goofy, and they did not come across as a power couple, the power couple that she has imagined in her head. Megan, ain't no power couple with Jordan. I feel like y'all are so fundamentally different. Once y'all get, past the compromise on a very basic level, I feel like y'all are going to hit a brick wall. Now that I've seen a little more into, how the dynamic works over here. I'm sure Jordan is a really nice guy. I think when a woman gets a particular eggs and, baby fever and biological clocks and things start ticking, that's why I said freeze your eggs, girl. Don't give any of your eggs to this man. I don't think he's the one for you. Anyway, I don't know what they mean by power couple. Who's a power couple? What exactly is a power couple? Please tell me. I mean, she's got money, but I feel like this whole image of a power couple, couples get together and they navigate through bullshit. Hopefully on the other side, they'll, like each other a lot. If you've got a mean partner, then you're going to have to get rid of them. Start all over again. Power couple. Anyway, y'all ain't even starting on an even keel, even feel. So it's already off balance, your foundation. So I don't know how much power is that, but I don't know why either you're worried about what these clowns think about you, because everybody's relationship is over here being a hot mess. And as I sit here and criticize Jordan and Megan, I feel like they're the most normal out of the couples here that we're looking at. Anyway, I feel like she's making an issue where there isn't one. This isn't like the biggest thing they have to deal with. Um, they get back to Denver. This is the end of the hot honeymoon for the most part. They get back to Denver, and she's all nervous to meet Lucas's mom, and she works herself up in tears. It's a fast pace. It's a fast pace. Like when you're dating someone and you know that they have a child, male or female, and you know that they have a child, and you have to figure out like how to move forward. Where do I fit in? What's the baby mama gonna be acting like? There's a lot of things to factor in. Jordan was over here telling us a little fib. He said he was a single dad. You are not a single dad, Jordan. You are sharing custody with the mother of your child. I feel like he probably spends most of his time like with his mother. So that being said, Megan is going to have time to slowly get to know Luca, yeah, because he's going to be going back home to his mother. I mean, if she likes kids, it shouldn't be a problem. Kids are pretty easy. And if you're nice, then they like you. If you got some dark going on, they're going to peep it. So there's that. Even if it's just not necessarily dark, even if it's just that you don't really vibe with kids that much, they figure that out very quickly. They did have a conversation, and I felt like this is a very good, important conversation to have going forward, moving into, what the boundaries are going to be. Sorry, Megan got a lot of money. She want to be over here spoiling this child. The more she likes him, the more she's going to want to do for him. This is the thing. As long as Megan is just Luca's stepmother, this is, we're going to pretend like these two are going to matrimony. But, in a real life scenario like this, if you're going to be his stepmother, you're going to have to, create boundaries, set forth by his parents. Now, if y'all have children together and if you want to spoil the shit out of your kids, then Luca is going to reap the benefits, because if you're a good person, both of the kids or all of the kids are going to get the same treatment. So we all going to Disney World, child. It's baby steps, honestly, when you're talking about integrating yourself into a, already made family. But here we are. Edmund and KB, they still back at the resort style, child. So Edmund and KB, they're apologizing. They're sitting having a little breakfast or what have you. I think KB's done. She's going through the motions, it seems like, at this point. This man sat over here and cried and threw a tantrum. And for me, it's concerning. I'm sorry. I'm not going to sit up here and entertain that. But, she's doing a very good job to some extent. I'm not sure what her issues are. And I see KB acting not KB, but Edmund acting very different depending on the circumstances. So I don't know, girl. Anyway, I feel like KB is treating Edmund the same way every parent does their child when they come off of punishment. Edmund just came out the room. He's been standing in the corner. She's asking him, like, did you learn your lesson? Next time when you want something, you're not going to be doing all that stomping and crying. You're a whole 30-year-old man almost, Edmund. We're not going to do that. Do you understand? He's like, yes, I understand. I really love you a whole lot. And so, yeah, they're going to go ahead and ease on into this parent-child relationship that they have been developing over here. Edmund also resorts to compliments. I'm gonna give him a break because I don't know what's going on with Edmund for the most part. Like I said, I've seen him act one way in certain scenarios, and then in other scenarios he acts completely different. But I think that for me personally, if you're just gonna be saying like how you're pretty, I like your shoes, don't do that if I'm pissed off. Don't talk about my shoes. Don't talk about I'm pretty. I know you love me and all of that, but I need us to focus on, the conversation about how you not go sit up here and throw tantrums like a 5-year-old. They get back to the apartment in Denver. This man crawls inside the cabinets. Like I said, she's doing fucking great. Freaking great. She's doing awesome. She is. By being very calm, because the way my patients work, I would have been like, you's a damn fool inside the cabinet. I mean, I guess I would understand that there was an issue, and I would be like, I'm production, this is an issue, and I'm bowing out now. But, she can follow through. Everybody comes over here with their own motives to promote and get branding deals. I don't know what kind of branding deals. Watch Edmund be the only one out of everybody to get a branding deal just because he's interesting to watch. Him and Madison is damn crazy. She is, for real. Now, remember, Joe got so toe up, Joe had to go back to the room and lay down. That's what happens when you get drunk. You're on vacation. You're out in the sun. They're from Denver. They're underestimating from Denver to Mexico. Joe is not used to this type of heat. He used to drinking, because it seems like we got some drinkers over here. But he, drinking out in that hot sun. I don't know what they was eating, guacamole or whatever, but it wasn't enough to keep that liquor from getting to Joe. So she's sitting outside on the patio. To be honest, we giving Edmund a whole lot of heat over here, but I feel like Madison's behavior is not much different. She hasn't been kissing the floor, or she hasn't been, eating her boogers that we know about. But she's definitely been over here throwing tantrums, much the same way that Edmund is doing. So now she's sitting outside, looking back. So she wants this drunk man to get up from out of his sleep. Not even sleep. When you've had too much to drink, it's a wrap. I'll have to talk to you tomorrow. The last time I got tore up like that, I went to my daughter's restaurant. What do they call it? Story time. I went to my daughter's restaurant, and it was like a whiskey bar. So I'm sitting up here. It's Sunday brunch. I could go, by myself because she works there. So I'm not really by myself. You know what I'm saying? So I'm sitting outside in this Florida heat and drinking peanut butter whiskey, which I probably will never drink ever again in my life just based on that experience. But I'm out here smoking cigars like I know how to smoke cigars. I mean, I do, but when you smoke cigars, that's why you put that shit out, because if you keep smoking too much, it's just as bad as the liquor almost. So here I am, sitting out in the sun when it's time for brunch. Instead of me ordering something like food, I'm going to sit up here and be cute and order some salmon on some toast avocado thing like they was over here doing in Mexico. Now, I'm drinking my peanut butter whiskey. I got a little Corona, so you know what I'm saying? I'm not just whiskeyed up in this hot sun. Then my daughter introduces me to the owner of the bar. So now, here him and his friends are sitting one to the mama. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, I had more to drink than I should have ever had to drink. And then, when I got home, everything was spinning. My skin was, don't touch me. It's a horrible feeling, one that I never intend to feel again. So I can just about imagine what Joe was feeling. Just shut up. Just shut up and let me sleep this off until in the morning. He woke up and he was still discombobulated. Girl, what is wrong with you? Well, you don't recognize my outfit. And anyway, she looking back to see if Joe was going to come check on him. Joe was like, are you good? I hear you out there crying. Why don't you come over here? Why don't you come check on me? What is he checking on you for? Girl, you can't see he drunk. Y'all just need to go lay down. Revisit this tomorrow. She says she embarrassed. This is so embarrassing. And me and Joe were sitting up there like, girl, what is you embarrassed about? 2 young people in Mexico having too much to drink? Yeah, that's supposed to be the story that you come back. This is the story. Man, that first night I was not ready for that heat. I had to go to bed. That's the story. Then you got to add about the part about how Madison cried because, she was embarrassed. Joe was like, it's funny. It's not funny. He's like, no, it ain't funny. He don't ever know what to do with himself. She can't believe he doesn't know what he did. I can't believe she's sitting up here acting like, what does she do? She never goes out. She hasn't been too tipsy before. I mean, maybe not. I don't know. But, she had to have seen someone that was too tipsy before. And having deep conversation is usually not the best time, when somebody is tipsy. You probably going to end up pissed off. So just let this man sleep. But she can't. What is Madison going to do when they run across real problems? It don't matter because they're not together. And they're out here doing interviews. She was on the Vile Files or whatever. I haven't gone over there yet, but I seen a clip of it. If y'all going to come over here and tell like she talking like she don't even like Joe. So if you don't like Joe, I mean, we also Joe walk off. We would walk off too if we were Joe. There's always one girl like this in every season. You got the Megan Fox girl. She was much like this. I'm sad. And then last season, I can't remember who it is, but there's usually one insecure girl. This is the type of girl that will get me in trouble at work. Because I've had this happen. These types of girls think you're cool and they want to navigate towards you doing too much. And you just be like, girl, I'm just over here trying to chill in my own little life. Will you shut the fuck up? I don't care about your Starbucks or none of that stuff you be having going on. So you try to distance yourself. And the more you try to distance yourself, the more they clinging, trying to get in. And the next thing you know, you being called into human resources about being mean. I had this lady one time. This is crazy. So I working in a salon at a corporate salon in the mall. And so this lady, older lady, came in and immediately she was insecure about all the fly girls. So, different things. Like it was a petite, tiny little Puerto Rican girl who dressed her ass off. And she came in there with some, shorts, but like, not booty shorts, like the kind of shorts you would wear with a suit. You know what I'm saying? And so this lady got all bent out of shape, called management because she's out of dress code. I don't know why that has anything to do with you, because she's supposed to be a hairstylist. She's not supposed to give a shit about somebody's dress code. She's not manager or anything. So for whatever reason, the actual manager decided he was going to pay her a few extra bucks because she couldn't make any money doing hair. Probably because she was annoying as hell. But he going to give her extra few couple bucks to come. Mind you, this is a corporate salon, so I don't know where he was paying this money out of, but I digress. Anyway, she was going to come in early for the salon open and clean. So I walk in there, it's just me and her. And I'm like, I'm not about to be dealing with this lady. You know what I'm saying? It's just me and her. She's going to be running her mouth, asking questions. And I'm still, just got out of my car. I just want to get my mind right before my client gets there. So past good morning, I didn't have a whole lot to say to her. I'm running on, but this is end of the story. Anyway, she has the back door open where the laundry's done and the towels and things are folded. She has it propped open with a box because she's no longer in her hairdresser shoes. She's in her housekeeper shoes. And so I'm like, my client is about to come in here. So I kicked the box so that the door would close. Next thing I know, and mind you, I don't know what was in that box. It was heavy. It wasn't like I could kick it across the room. I had to kick it, you know what I'm saying, out of the way of the door. And so next thing I know, I'm called into a meeting with the manager because this lady is triggered because when I kicked the box across the room, that's what she told him. When I kicked the box across the room, it triggered her and it reminded her of her abusive ex-husband. I swear to God, I got called in, to have a conversation about this. So I'm looking at him, the manager, like, and what would you like me to do about this? Because what's going to happen is this lady will no longer get so much as a hello from me. If she thought I was freezing her ass out before, then she will finally see, what the real freeze out is going to feel like. So that being said, I feel like this girl's that type of girl. Like if you don't pay her enough attention, she'll go to start some shit to get you in trouble. Ooh, I'm very triggered by Madison. Clearly, you can see. Next morning, she was so upset by this whole thing that they had to sleep in separate rooms because she was so embarrassed by the behavior of this man who actually wasn't belligerent, who actually took his ass back to the room and laid down. If that's the kind of drunk, you're going to be, I can appreciate that. Just go, not to, drunk. I'm just saying, if you, out partying too much and you come lay your ass down and shut the fuck up, shut the heck up, then, it could be way worse. He could be trying to kick you in your teeth. And that's a real thing. So, be happy that Joe is not a violent, aggressive, nasty drunk. How about that? She's triggered. He got to stay somewhere else. So they spent the night apart. And then he comes back in to apologize. And she's, I know, Joe. Like, I just miss you so much. And he's like, yeah, I guess I could. They be talking over each other and not really finishing anything. So there's no resolve here. But they've decided that they're going to have some amazing communication and some amazing sex. Because according to her, later on that evening, they communicated so well with one another and they had great sex. So I guess Joe gonna get what Joe can get out of it before he has to shut this thing down. He better hope she ain't sleeping in his bushes. They be pretending. They pretend, very well through a conversation. Anyway, I guess that's that on them. For episode 7, child, we got 2 more episodes to get over. So moving right along, Annie and Nick. Who is Annie and Nick? Oh, the hairdresser and the gay boy. They discuss how perfect they are. They're discussing family. Annie said before she came, her father said he hoped she finds somebody that's manly enough to be with her. And I'm like, why would he say that? I feel like, okay, so Annie goes for the feminine guy, the gay guy. This isn't the first time she's done that. She's a hairdresser, and I know I have watched over the years many very good-looking hairdressers have women that it just don't click. They don't care. The man is fine. He likes to dance. See, that's the thing. very polite, pull out your chair. Anyway, this clearly is what she's been doing because she said that's her father's criteria, not necessarily hers. And he has all the things, he does all the things that her father likes, and he's still kind of gay. So, best of both worlds, I suppose. What do we define as manly? He does all the stuff, the manly things. He's athletic and he's, lives in the mountains and shovels his own snow and I guess got a snowblower or something. Anyway, Nick said that Annie checks all his family boxes. And I was like, what are those boxes? Probably white MAGA female. So there, I don't know that his family, woman, female, because they already know what's up with their son, it's not going to take much to check their boxes. And I feel like those are the three boxes that are the main things. His mother is a hairstylist, so they'll have a lot in common. His father's probably gay, so they'll have that in common too. Anyway, I'm sitting here and I'm looking at Annie's hair, and I was like, Annie, you came over here on this television show, the owner of a hair salon with roots like that, and she's a young girl. Girl, you didn't have nobody could, touch up your roots. You've only gonna be over there for a month. Them roots been waiting for a long time, and Annie got a lot of hair. Whew. Y'all know I get irritated by hair things. So she was over here not doing her right hair thing. They're sitting, they're trying to figure out the dynamics of their relationship. They're going to move into Annie's apartment because his place is out up in the mountains and she got a salon. So she got to be, close to work for the most part. And he works like selling watches or whatever, watch dealer, whatever designer watches he doing with the watches. He make a lot of money, so he can be, either place. And it's only an hour away, so it's not like he can't go up to his house, a couple times a week if he wants to. They have these, after this little get together, they come back to their room and they discuss other couples. They all do this. They all be like, who's first? How do you think these two get along? I don't know. They had a fight. They come back and they, rate the couples. It's a thing over here. Why he tell her this? Nick said all the guys were like, if you had to make a decision today, would you? And there was hesitation. None of the guys are sure, 100%. And they just want to see how these next few months go, not even next few weeks go, because at the end of the day, we are just on vacation. We haven't seen what the day-to-day looks like. So, they need more time. At this point, they're hesitant. Why he say that? Because that set her off and she started getting on in her feelings because she came over here she's, came to get married for people who know they want to be married. And when she said yes, she was completely sure, that that's what she's wanted to do. And he's like, well, I'm not saying, that that's not what I want to do. I'm just saying, I don't understand. I don't need you. It's a want. I don't need you. So she kept telling this man how she don't need him. And he's like, I don't know how you think that makes me feel, but it ain't making me feel good. What is it? Why do you keep saying it like that? All of a sudden, Nick looks very sane. It's weird. I think it's normal to have some type of insecurities and some type of hesitancy, even if it's just pause when it comes to, I feel like people that had plenty of time in a relationship sometimes are like, I don't know, marriage though, that's a more permanent situation. I mean, this is somebody who's never done it, ain't gonna do it, not about to do it, and that's just me. So the idea of doing it blindly is, a fun ride, I suppose. That's how episode 7 ended. I'm trying to get my notes together, child, because there's a lot going on over here. Okay, episode 8, everybody's back in Denver now. Annie and Nick. Annie says she's never loved anyone like she loved Nick. And I'm like, girl, so who have you been dating? What is going on? You've never loved anyone like you love this man that you absolutely don't know, like you just met him. So I guess I think that should put Nick on pause. I don't like it when people say stuff like that right out the gate. And you're like, are you okay? And they keep saying this isn't a normal process. It's not, but still, I feel like you can still hold off on, like, you can't control emotions necessarily. I feel like they have literally no reason to love each other at this point. They came from behind a wall and now they're on a vacation. Just sleeping in bed next to somebody I don't know will feel weird to me, but they came over here and gave the cootie up. Except KB. And if I were KB, I would have made the same decision. We ain't about to do this. KB's like, okay, I'm gonna go to Baja. I'm gonna entertain this nigga. I'm gonna hang out with my girls. I've been hanging out with them, the last 10 days. You know what I'm saying? So I got past the process. I'm running on out. That's about where KB is with it. The rest of these girls is in fairy tale land. Fairy tale land will have you messed up out here. Nick takes Annie to the mountains. He has a manly man house. There's classic car, motorcycle, hockey, ice boat, bikes. Like he said, he got moose and elk outside the back door. That's manly man stuff right there. Honestly, so far, Nick is like the best candidate for a husband. We talk about contracts and things. So yeah, he got property, probably investments and things. Hold on to your man, Annie. Jordan and Megan, they're back at the house. He brings her to his apartment. He has a 1-bedroom apartment. He got his bed in the living room. Now you talking to somebody who has a $1.5 million home in LA. And in LA, that's not a lot of house because LA is expensive. But she got that type of money, like she sold a house in LA. Over here in Denver, that investment would be probably a little bit better. But this man has a 1-bedroom apartment and he's sleeping on the couch in the living room, and the kids' room is Jordan, get a 2-bedroom apartment for God's sake, so your baby can have his own room, and so you can't bring your future wife. If you living like that, don't be looking for no wife. You came over to Love is Blind to get married in 30 days so you could upgrade to a bigger room. I'm seeing you, Jordan. You keep playing that humble role, but the pieces when you put them together are make it very much more clear. Like I said, he's not a single dad. He's shares custody with his ex. So there's that. He meets her mom and sister, who are clearly like on some road of fantasy land. They talk a lot about how, your dad, like he spoke to me in a dream and told me this is the one, because him and the little boy have the same, condition. She was saying that because it's the anniversary, Megan did, it's the anniversary of her father's death, and she woke up feeling a type of way, and she wanted him to console, and he didn't even know. So basically, they came to an understanding there with her mother that when you have things that you're dealing with, this man is not a mind reader. So how to console you. Those are things you learn. That's why I said you can't be in love with somebody automatically, because they haven't crossed any of that's the first. That's the first thing that they've come across. And she didn't even tell him what it was. So he got to get a do-over because he didn't get the opportunity to handle himself in a way, that where she could judge how he, maneuvers, because she didn't say nothing. Megan's family likes Jordan. I'm guessing he's a likable person. The family's already signed up to this nonsense, so they know what it is when you come over here and you have to matrimony yourself to a stranger. Allie and Anton, there's not much going on with them. Allie says she's going back to school, and cooking and cleaning, that's not her thing. So, he might have to get a private chef or something. She's more concerned about whether or not she's going to be able to get her Botox. So Anton going to have to pick up a few more shifts if he wants to keep this lady around. They discussed joint accounts. I thought this was a good conversation to have when you're making a decision to marry someone. Joint account. She thinks they should have, their marital account and their joint account. And he's like, I don't see why we would need a separate accounts. And she was like, so you won't be in my business. That's why. And I feel like, yes, that's what you do. Case I need to bounce. I'm not finna be letting you control the coins. Nigga, are you out of your mind? Them days is over. We don't do that. unless you're somebody like, Megan and Annie who want to be kept. Child. I'm guessing. I haven't heard them say that because Annie got her own business. And Megan is a UITIX designer. Child. Allie meets Anton's friends, and both of them have moved very quickly. Both Anton and his friend have moved really quickly into relationships. He said they, spent together the first night and didn't move out. So maybe he was looking on somebody to go half on the bills. There's a lot of 50 niggas around here. And I'm not, I'm okay with 50-50 because if you making very little, 50-50 gonna get you to the next step. Now, when you talk about like Megan and Jordan, when there becomes an imbalance of, income, then you obviously we're not 50-50. We have to figure out what that looks like. Percentages and numbers, that's it. It's not that complicated. Anton's friends talk too much. Anton's friend was telling a story about how when he was the manager at McDonald's, they used to shut the store down and go get trashed. That's concerning. He's a party boy, this Anton is. He be out here getting tipsy all the time. I thought it was just Mexico, but this is what he do. They said they plan on moving to Florida. She's not from there. They don't really care for Denver much. Yeah, I don't know if he need to be down here. We'll pick a city that's not too much party, where Anton could get himself into trouble. There's certain cities you could go to where you'd be all right, but there's definitely gonna be a local bar for him to go sit down at somewhere. The ladies go to the bathroom, and Anton's friend is over there spilling all the tea. So apparently these two was out here at the strip club all the time. And she was like, that's when they were single. And Allie is like, they was just single like a few minutes ago. So it's not like they changed that much. So, I guess homegirl is like hoping, can you settle Anton down so he won't keep taking my husband to the strip club? She was telling all the bees, all the teas. Ciao. And Allie is concerned, and she should be, because, he's a party boy. And if that's the case, then maybe he's not quite ready to settle down, child. You're going to be wondering where Anton is. KB and Edmund. So Edmund's mother comes to visit. And this was very interesting, this interaction with his mother and KB. She goes straight into questioning KB. What made you pick my son? She's probably like, we all know what's something going on. So what made you pick him? And KB says she liked the way he opened up. She, from behind the wall, it seemed like him being vulnerable versus him being, something else. Edmund's mom says she likes KB. So she gives her these, I have a gift for you, but it's not here. So I'm going to give it to Edmund, and then he can show you how to do it. But I give it to all my daughter-in-laws. She travels back and forth to Ghana, so she speaks like someone who is wise. I didn't really hear her say too much wise, but she carries herself like, in Ghana, we do it like this. And Edmund says she went to Ghana, left him in Colorado. So why you didn't take your son to Ghana, Mama, so he can experience some of these things? Because what was you doing? How much is a ticket to Ghana? Because he said that they was in and out. I guess, you could clean your life out up and figure it out, I suppose. One-way ticket is a one-way ticket. She figure out how she going to get back. We know her struggles. KB gives them some alone time, Edmund and his mother. And his mom, she gives herself credit for raising him. It was weird to me. And then he has this look on his face like, I'm not going to disrespect my mom, so I'll let her tell the story however she wants to tell it. And she's telling it in a way that, I've been through things, but I raised you to be a great son. And I was like, okay. She said when her and her sisters was looking at KB on Instagram, they was like, nah. But now that she's met her, she's changed her mind. I wonder why. Why you change your mind? What was she giving? Everything she was giving on Instagram is the same thing she's giving in real life. It wasn't like that different. You're probably wondering, what does your son do to snag this girl? I don't think she needs his money. She's a traveling social worker. So with her job, she gets to go visit different places at the very least. I don't know where she's visiting to, but I don't think she necessarily needs Edmund for his income. Um, She said she wants to be able to talk to KB without getting ratted out. And I was like, what are you talking about? Ratted out about what? Because if you do something crazy, I'm going to tell your son your mama's bugging. Like, what are you saying behind the scenes? Like, to KB or any of, she said the other daughter-in-laws rat her out. Why? Because they seen a crack pipe maybe or something. Like, what does that mean? And I'm not saying that to be mean. I'm saying this lady struggled with drug addiction. So, the way she was over there talking, I'm not convinced. So, it is what it is. I think Edmund act very different in front of his mom. He wasn't acting a fool. He wasn't jumping on the furniture. He wasn't rolling around in the grass. He was acting very stiff and staunch and in control. And there was a moment where his mother started tearing up and he stayed in his control state. Like, we know how Edmund would cry over some spilled milk if spill it in the right place. But now all of a sudden he's just mature, calm person. And I'm like, okay, what's really going on? Unless, they cut out all the parts where he was acting a fool. Edmund was giving very, very much different energy with his mother there. Madison and Joe, they back at the apartment. They're just having regular conversation. I'm excited to meet your family. I can't wait for you to meet my mom. And, she's excited. She can't wait for him to meet her family. And she says she never introduced anyone to her family before. And I'm like, really? Why not? Not your mother, not your sister, not nobody. Like, in all the years that she's been dating, Joe is the first person. Maybe it's because they don't stay around long enough for her to be introducing them. She don't want her mother to be like, what happened to that guy? What happened to this guy? Because Madison, after a few hours, I feel like I would have enough of her. I don't know how Joe, but she's very good at acting composed, just like Edmund. There's so many similarities. I'm just now seeing it between the way Edmund behaves and the way Madison behaves, in terms of, not boogers or floor kissing. Joe said, he asked her, like, if she had any reservations. Are you having any reservations? No. I knew what I signed up for. This experiment is for married-minded people. This isn't for people who don't know what they want to do. He was like, it's a different experience. I know that, but I said fucking yes. Every time when you put that ring on my finger, I said fucking yes, Joe, because I knew what I wanted. And now you're over here. I guess I'm just too nice. Maybe I should just be a meaner bitch. Then you'll like it. Joe's like, I was just trying to. Yeah, Joe, I know what you're saying. I want this. And now I'm finding out that you don't want this as much as I want this. Child, the performance of it. Oh, I can't tell if she's for real or not. She popping off. Joe's like, well, then I'm just going to don't say nothing then, because I don't know what the hell is going to happen if I open my mouth. This is absolutely like the most outrageous circumstances story you could ever come across. And I feel like the chances of something actually happening over here is not very likely. You would have to be so much online. What happened with them people that got married last time? I don't remember their names. He had a lot of hair and she was an Asian chick with a white daddy. Where were they at? Anyway, I feel like communicating with Megan is like walking through a minefield. You just don't know what you're going to say that's going to blow your foot off. Jesus. He can't even get a full sentence out. Now she crying because she hurt. He was like, what are you hurt about? I feel like this could have been a very calm conversation without her popping off. And I also feel like she should understand the hesitation. Well, Joe, we're just getting back home and getting to get comfortable in each other's space. So, if you still feeling hesitation after a week or two, then I need you to let me know so I know what headspace to be in. But for right now, I'm ready, still on go. Are you on go? He's like, yeah, I'm on go. That's how a normal conversation would go. But she doesn't have normal conversation. She starts popping off and freaking out and, acting a fool, crying her white girl tears. Hopefully he'll come chase me down. Joe does not chase her down. He'd be sitting there like, oh my God, what the fuck is wrong with her? He chased her down later. Somebody be like, Joe, go get the girl. He like, oh, okay. Yeah, I'll just say sorry. I'll just say sorry. I'll never do it again. That's what it's giving. I would be scared to say something to her too, because somebody free Joe. Madison like only literally cares about how Madison feels. She doesn't give a good care about Joe's feelings or what his needs are. All she cares about is, how Madison feels. And, that's unfortunate because how Madison feels is a psycho. He apologized and child, he don't know what he did. He took her over to his apartment. He has a small little apartment. What the heck? I've never seen that tiny little oven. Did y'all see Joe's oven? It was like just a little bitty oven. They be building things different. I've lived in apartments before. I've never had an apartment with an eensy weensy oven like that. And Joe had meat in his freezer, so it ain't like he don't use it. He cooked, child. Madison meets his family. He had a lot of people there. It was like a mother, a sister. I don't know if it was a stepfather, a friend. There was about 4 or 5 people there. But Madison does a very excellent job of selling this relationship to his family. Like just like Edmund, she put the crazy away. She had all the answers to all their questions. Joe, like as long as Joe don't say too much, he just yeah. As long as he keeps doing that, then they're golden. And I feel like Joe's family is very hard to read. They were asking questions. They said they liked her. I guess I would like to hear what their opinion was. Everybody else walked away. I would have loved for Madison. She won't walk away for a single second and let Joe say something stupid. Everybody else had a moment with their family, and so we didn't get that. So we don't know what they probably was like. I don't know. We'll see what happens here. And okay, so episode 9, child. This is where the people all meet up. So we're over at Megan and Jordan's apartment, and I don't know what Jordan is over there doing, making chicken in a blender with some Crystal Light, but that is the most disgusting. That right there is enough to make me leave the building. I don't know what you're doing, but that's gross. What is that gonna smell like when he start burping it? Ugh, call it off. They go house hunting. Like I said, Megan got 1.5 mil to work with. It's a 6-bedroom home. Megan got money, and I think Megan should do what Megan wants to do with her money. It's a house. Things are, written up in that contract too. If y'all want to go together over in that house, Joe said he, it feel like a moocher if he lived over there. He said he's used to being the provider. And I was like, of what? In that little apartment with 1 bedroom. What is you providing? You're barely providing for yourself. So Joe, stop. Jordan, cut it out. I feel like Jordan is way eager to move into this house. He just playing it off, playing it, fall back. Don't get too excited. And to some extent, I think I understand where he's coming from. That's how men feel. But it's a matter of, like I said, numbers and percentages and contracts being written in a way that everything is fair case. That's what prenups are for. Get all that in order. But right now, let that lady get the house that she wants. She should not ever be downsizing her life to keep up with you. Maybe you'll learn something. And in relationships, these things happen where it could flip, where his money can be up and they can negotiate different terms and conditions. So, if he I ain't never been to no house this fancy before. You better fancy yourself up and fly back and forth to LA and things and get to know this lady. And we're going to stop acting like Luca and stop it. Luca got his own life with his mama, his sister, and his stepfather, Jack. I know that because Jordan was like, she didn't tell me about Jack and didn't. Why she got to tell you? Anyway, because they have a son. So I get it. Anyway, Annie and Nick. Nick is over here doing manly things over at the salon. He getting construction done over there. Girl, Annie picked the right one. Um, this vibe though between Nick and his family was the weirdest thing I think I've seen in a long time. His mother is very intense. She talks about him like he's a 6-year old. You're very passionate. You always have been, and you tend to like keep things in. Make sure if he's holding things in. He is. He's holding it in, and he gonna hold it in, and he gonna keep praying about it, and praying and praying and praying that he doesn't do the thing that y'all are afraid that he's going to do. He'll just do it with Annie until, anyway. It's weird when she was like, Nick, his mom, you tend to hold things in. And Nick is like, yes, I'm aware. It's one of my flaws. It's one of my faults. What? That's not a fault necessarily. Child. I don't know what's going on over there. His brother was standing there staring like, he gay, right? I hate to keep saying it that way, but that's what it is. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like he's not the first one that has come up. First of all, I feel like, the whole gay thing is very much a spectrum. So I'm not even going to sit up here and say that he don't like Annie. He might be, like I said, Todd Chrisley this thing, and he might like Annie and other things as well. But I really feel like the whole I'm a mountain man. It's like Nick has been trying to prove himself to his family his whole life. And at the end of the day, he's a man who has a lot going on for himself. The people don't like him that much, and that's probably because of the way he was raised. But he did all the things, and he's good at all the things. So, judging him for being whatever we think he is, I think it's because just based on the way he's behaving, it's like he's making sure that his family is okay. And the choices that he makes to be this manly man that we know, I don't want to say that he's not, because it seems like he's doing all the things. I'm not going to take that away from him, but, and Annie is over here picking like feminine men, according to her father. So we're right on track over here. I want Annie to relax a little bit, and maybe Annie and Nick are the ones to watch. I don't know. It was just the exchange was very weird. To like they were trying to see if she knew, like, and if she was so blinded by love. Anyway, I like her. Like I said, them 3 qualifications he brought up in there wasn't gonna take much. All she had to be is, a white MAGA female. That's it. That's all. It's time to meet the connections, y'all. So they have this rodeo party, and everybody shows up to the rodeo in their cutest rodeo clothing. KB was in her sexy mama Beyonce cowboy Carter gear. The engaged couples arrive first. They got to get there first and say their hellos, and they go in separate corners. The girls in one corner, the guys in the other corner. It's just like the same as it was like in the pod. Allie tells the ladies that Anton be drinking, and he drink at night. When he get home in the morning, he have a couple beers. So, Anton, every morning you got to have beer. I guess it don't matter what time of day it is, child. If he's at work, but I feel like for her, that's a turn off. And Anton seems to be, like I said, a party boy. I don't know that I don't drink like that, but I don't know if I do have a beer, it don't be in the morning. I prefer coffee. First person in, Patrick. We know Patrick got dumped by Casey. And, he told them like she basically was ghosting him, giving him the same sob story that she was getting. He's acting confused. I don't know why, Patrick. Are you confused? I feel like you know exactly what's going on. That pod sex conversation have you holding on and hoping to actually, get the monkey on you, but she's not even giving you her phone number. And she says she's not giving the ring back. Casey, give the ring back. Talking about she been through things too. She not the only one that this was hard. Girl, get a man the ring back. If he didn't pay for it, then I mean, I guess you like Love is Blind pay for this. So, but if he bought the ring, girl, give the ring back. That's whack, Casey. But Casey's whack for coming over here with that foolishness in the first place. Um, Brendan comes in and he says his hellos, and then Annie's in her feelings because he didn't make her feel like she was his number one. Girl, you chose somebody else. He begged and begged and begged, and you chose somebody else. So besides hi, what did you want this man to give you? What conversation did you want to have with him? I feel like y'all had your closure when you told him, yeah, you didn't fight for me, and it don't matter because he doesn't have no mountain home or any of that stuff that Nick has. So I think Nick was a better choice than Brandon, maybe. Mike and Megan have a conversation. Mike is low key over here still shooting his shot. I don't feel like Mike, his reveal was anything like he thought it was gonna be, because him and what's his boy Jordan, like I said, they're on the same level. One's not any better looking than the other one. Mike think he's finer than Jordan, but you're not. You're just, you're just another different dude. And, Megan said, of course, there's chemistry. Yeah, there's chemistry because, we were doing all this talking and stuff. Now he over here dissing the ring. If you had picked me, I would have picked you. I would have bought you an emerald ring. You better pay them people, Michael, that said you don't be paying them over down to the Airbnbs, the cleaning people. At the end of it all, he's like, are you happy? She's like, yeah, it's the real deal with Jordan. So I'm glad she didn't give him that. She would have came off so weird. A cocky is what he calls himself, and I think the cocky is what turns her off. She's like, I've been there, done that. If I got to go out of town to LA or something on business, I got to be worried whether or not you're being faithful. Nah, I'm good. She know Jordan ain't bringing nobody over there to that 1-bedroom apartment, so she gonna stick with what she got. Patrick and Anna. This irritated me. This is why I don't like Patrick. He's sitting up here telling Anna, yeah, if you wouldn't have left, like we wouldn't have went all the way. And Anna's like, but you got engaged to someone. So don't tell me that we wouldn't have went all the way. And then he tried to flip it on her and say, I don't think like you were ready to like be all the way open, like with your family. And, she's like, maybe not. And he said, I think you would have got to the altar and still said no. And we will never know. Because instead of you leaving like Blake did, Blake was like, I liked Annie. She's not here, so I'm out. You didn't do that. You went and let Coochie Barbie convince you to come over there to the engagement day. And then she left you you said a few hours. You said she didn't even give you a whole day. Few hours she went in there and she was like, you don't think I'm going to be able to do it. And, they probably made her. They probably was like, well, you're going to have to tell him. And then she's telling him by kissing him and crying and throwing her coochie all around him again. Boy, you stupid. He's a meathead. The more I hear, what's his name, Patrick talk, the less I like him. You talking about because you're Asian, it's your personality stinks, Patrick. Should work on that. Not even a bad looking guy. So, I'm guessing because you're in white Colorado, you're not the norm. So they would probably be saying the same thing to, the black people. Black people is just used to adapting different. I think black guys probably also in a world of snow bunnies don't have it as hard as maybe Patrick does, but his personality has a lot to do with it. Him and Casey are both whack. Yeah, he's just a meathead. We're moving on along, child. Annie said, Nick is perfect. They were all standing around and yeah, she said he's perfect. And he's like, oh, no. And then Edmund is like, oh, my God, that is so cool. It would be so wonderful if somebody said you're perfect. And then here comes KB. She tired of him. Because this didn't even make sense, the reason why she's pissed. Because I've seen how it would be nice if somebody told you I'm perfect, even though it's not true. I guess that's what he needs to hear. He wants to, be built up. And whatever she's saying to him and how she's saying, didn't I tell you I appreciate you? That's not the same thing. I think he's not getting no sexual energy from KB. KB's fine, and he want to like get all up under her, and I don't think she's giving that. She's giving very motherly. And when I get done with this, to the altar, I'm gonna be done with this shit. And as long as I be nice, I'll be fine. But she lost her nice. She lost her patience. She's blaming him for the fight. Why did you start this? Because he says something to the effect of, you focus on the negative things. So she came home from work and probably did what mothers do. You know how you come home from work. What is this glass doing here? Why is you get out the cabinet so I could put the broom back in there? She was probably doing all of that. Get your mouth off the floor. What's the matter with you? She didn't tell him he was perfect. Stop eating your boogers. It's nasty. That's how, KB engages with Edmund. Now that they're living together, you have to. I wish he would take that pick out of his head. Because the pick annoys me. It ain't even like, you know what I mean? I have a pick, like I said, but it's not serving the purpose it's supposed to serve. It's just a pick stuck in the back of your head. How does he show up when he's selling property? A lot of people have a real estate license. Is he really a realtor? What does he do for a living? For real. He getting a SSI check or something? I don't know. Edmund tries to speak up for himself, but it's hard to when your mama tell you shut up. And so she reprimanded him in front of all of these people. And so he starts backing out of the conversation because he can't, he's going to start crying. He don't want to start crying over here. Even though they're all used to him crying, he's like, they're going to see me crying. And so he just backs up. He's like, maybe we should walk away. Maybe we should walk away. He's not really up for any real type of confrontation. The guys are over there like, he's like, I'm going to die tonight. She's going to kill me. I'm going to die. And they're like, go back over there. Take accountability. Tell him you're sorry. Why? Y'all don't even know what happened. You're telling him to go say sorry. I don't really feel like he had to be sorry about anything. He was just, joking around, and this lady like is sick of him. So she finally like reached her, last straw. That's all. Nick sits down with Kate. He apologizes to Kate. He said he really didn't know how to manage the situation, having these feelings for two people. And they separate on a positive note, but we know that Nick was over there like saying him and Annie were talking all sexy. According to the people out here in these streets, Nick was over here love bombing in the pods. So I don't know how many people he was love bombing, but that's what they told Annie. And now Annie is mad. And she's sitting up there not speaking to him. She mad at him. He don't even know what she mad about. He got off the bull. He came over there. And she's like got her back turned to him. That's mature, Annie. That's how you communicate. I don't know why they were interviewing Drunk Joe, but Joe said, Nick is all right. I mean, I guess. I don't know about Nick. I don't know a lot of people, he ain't my type of guy. I don't really like Nick like that. But, that's all I'm going to say about him. And all of his sentences go that way. Like, there's, like, lots of missing words. So I don't know if Joe was ever sober when we seen him because I would have to go back to the pods. All I know is they had a conversation about going to 7-Eleven after their date or before their date. Madison is over there talking to Kate, talking about how her and Joe, their communication is so good. And he told her he wanted to put a baby in her. Did he say that? I don't know. Drunk Joe might have said anything. He seems like, he's drunk a lot. So she better get used to it. He don't know how to go somewhere and have a few beers. He gonna get toe up. And they was like, come on, have some shots. And Joe was like, this is what got me in trouble last time, but I'm gonna come on over here and I'm gonna take these shots. And I don't know, KB was being mean to Edwin. Don't talk to me. Don't look at me. I just feel like, she's been over here. This man been jumping on the furniture, climbing in the cabinets, and KB is just don't want to feel like being bothered with him right now. And so he know them guys. He could sit over there sad if he wants to, or he could get up and go over there. Then when they get all drunk, I think he's like, they're all drunk. And she said the liquor might have got to him. So go play with your friends. They're all goofy. that's it. That's how that ended. Whew, I can't believe I got through all of that. So, they like to drop, like I said, 3 episodes at a time. We'll get back and see like what life is gonna be like outside the pods and in these apartments, and we're gonna get to see more drama between these couples that hopefully will not waste our time going to the altar to to say yes. Just so everybody say no. No one say yes. In the meantime, y'all, like the video, subscribe to the channel. You know what to do, and I'll see you when I see you. Bye, y'all.